Wake up, rise up, Mell, be on the line. News, weather, truth, she delivers on time. Affirm your power, let the doubt unwind. Kickstart your soul, let your purpose shine. She don't just talk, she spark the flame from 7 to 8. She runs the game, Jamaica to New Orleans and all the world. The vibe don't sleep. Mell B drop gems while the world counts sheep. No fluff, no cap, just facts and fire. Affirmation flow that lifts you higher. Wake up, rise up, Mell B on the line. News, weather, truth, she delivers on time. Affirm your power.
Grand Rising, my beautiful kings and queens. We made it to the finish line. It's your girl Mell B closing out the week on Lux Radio Network. It's Friday, January 30th, 2026, Feature Friday. But listen, we aren't just sliding into the weekend. We are finishing this month strong. How you end January determines how you enter February. I have 17 days away from my book launch. I am so excited. So today is about stamina. If you're tired, learn to rest, but not quit. We're closing out the month with power, intention, and a whole lot of love. So let's get to it. Our affirmation today is, and I read, I move with purpose, power, and peace. Every step I take today aligns me with the life I'm building, and nothing can shake what I'm becoming. January 30th carries a closing the month energy, a moment where you can look at what you've done, release what you didn't serve, and walk boldly into February with clarity. This affirmation grounds you in intention, which is your purpose, confidence, which is your power, and emotional steadiness, which is your peace. It reminds you that your growth isn't fragile, you're not easily moved, and you're evolving on purpose. All right, our word of the day is unshakable, meaning steady, grounded, not easily moved by pressure, doubt, or outside noise. A mindset of inner strength stays firm no matter what's happening to you. Today's energy is all about moving with intention and refusing to let anyone throw you off your path. All right, our urban slang word or phrase today is drip. It means to have an immense amount of style, fashion sense, or swag. When your outfit is impeccable, you dripping. It originated in Atlanta hip hop scene in the late 2010s, popularized by Gunna and Young Thug. It compares to expensive jewelry and high fashion to liquid dripping off of a person. All right, on to our world news headlines. U.S. national news headlines is first up. You have federal chair nomination looming. The president is expected to announce his nominee for the Federal Reserve chair this morning. The decision is highly anticipated as it will signal whether the central bank will maintain its independence or shift toward more aggressive interest rate cuts. Also, we have National Day of Action Disruption. Widespread civic demonstrations are occurring in major cities today as a part of a grassroots national shutdown protesting recent federal agency tactics. Participation is affecting public transit and local government operations in several hubs. In the Supreme Court transparency debate, bipartisan momentum is building in the Senate for the Judicial Integrity Act, which would require all federal judges, including Supreme Court judges, to use a standardized electronic system for reporting gifts and travel. All right, U.S. cities, starting with New York. The City Council is debating a new proposal to fast-track the conversion of vacant Midtown office spaces into art live work hubs to revitalize the district's economy. New York's community event today is Vision Boarding Wellness Session, a community session focused on goal setting and future planning at Art Club in the East Village at 7:30 p.m. this evening. Los Angeles. California state officials have announced a new $500 million grant for Los Angeles to expand green transit corridors, focusing on electric bus infrastructure. Los Angeles community event today is Disability Justice Storytelling. Residents, artists, and advocates gather for a night of lived experience storytelling at the Wendy Museum in Culver City at 5 p.m. Chicago. Chicago's Department of Planning and Development has unveiled Project North Wales, a multi-million-dollar streetscape improvement plan for the near North Side. Chicago's community event of the day is Neighborhood Mixer, a social gathering and community preview of the new Scout Waterhouse and Kitchen on North Wells Street at 5:30 p.m. Atlanta. The mayor's office is launching a tech equity initiative, providing subsidized high-speed internet and hardware to small businesses in underserved South Side neighborhoods. Atlanta's community event today is Beat the Winter Blues, a community social at Carl E. Sanders Family YMCA in Buckhead, that's designed to help locals find walking and pickleball partners at 6 p.m. Houston. Houston's Medical Center is debuting a world first AI diagnostic hub, a collaborative facility aimed to reducing wait times on non-emergency medical imaging. Houston's community event of the day is Montrose Pub Crawl, a fantasy-themed social event. Medieval art attire is encouraged, starting at the Magic Cauldron to promote the Sherwood Forest Fair at 8 p.m. Washington, D.C. The John F. Kennedy Center hosted a high-profile premiere for the documentary Milena last night, drawing significant political figures and sparking debate on First Lady legacies. Washington, D.C.'s community event today is the Smithsonian Labor History Lecture, a public discussion at the National Museum of American History, exploring the shift from industrial to digital labor in the United States. Miami. Downtown Miami is moving forward with the Flagler District Transformation Plan, aiming to make the area a permanent pedestrian-only cultural zone. Miami's community event today is Street Stages, Lotus Collective, a free community-focused live music performance blending salsa and funk on Flagler Street at 7 p.m. Tampa. The city is holding a public meeting today for the Equal Business Opportunity Advisory Committee to discuss new diversity mandates for city contracts. Tampa's community event today is Hannah Avenue City Center Meeting, a public session at 2555 East Hannah Avenue for residents to weigh in on local business development at noon. Newport Richey. Good morning, Dad. The Chasco Fiesta organization has officially declared the 2026 theme as Spirit of America, celebrating U.S. semi-quincentennial anniversary, which is the 250th anniversary. Newport Richey's community event is the Chasco Fiesta Planning Committee. Community leaders meet at Sims Park to finalize the 9-day cultural festival schedule. Milwaukee. Good morning, family. Following the city's 180th birthday, local civic groups are petitioning for historic status for several legacy buildings in the West Side to prevent demolition. Milwaukee's community event today is the Afro-Latin Fusion Fridays, a dance and cultural social event at Sabar Tropical Restaurant on South Connecticut Avenue starting at 10 p.m. Vancouver. Vancouver School Board is reviewing a new eco-literacy Vancouver School Board is reviewing a new eco-literacy curriculum that would make climate science a mandatory graduation requirement. Vancouver's community event It's the Vancouver Winter Arts Festival, a final weekend of interactive light installations and public art tours throughout the downtown core. Toronto. The Toronto Stock Exchange is seeing a surge in urban tech stocks as the city announces new infrastructure partnerships with private AI firms. Their community event there is Design TO Festival Junction Tour, a guided community walk through the Junctions District's newest design and architecture exhibits. Bless up, Jamaica. Kingston. Kingston Creative has released its 9-year impact report detailing how the Creative Cities initiative has bolstered the local entrepreneur economy. Kingston's community event of the day is Creative Resilience Fund Workshop, a development session for local artists and entrepreneurs held by Kingston Creative. Montego Bay. Montego Bay is hosting Global Scientists Today for a major summit on multidisciplinary research and how technology can improve education in the Caribbean. Montego Bay's community event today is International Conference on Education Science, a public research showcase and tech exhibition held at the Montego Bay Convention Center. Ocho Rios. Local tourism boards are celebrating a Green Star rating for several Ocho Rios resorts following a successful 6-month waste reduction pilot. Ocho Rios community event of the day is the Mojong on the Beach, a social gathering and tournament at Traveling Tiles on the Ocho Rios beachfront at 9 a.m. Negril. Negril's West End modernization project is holding a town hall to discuss balancing new pedestrian sidewalks with the preservation of historic rocky cliffs. Negril's community event today is Roots All Original Showcase, a live reggae performance and community fundraiser at Roots Bamboo Beach Resort to support local rebuilding efforts at 9:30 p.m. tonight. Cayman Islands. The Ministry of Health has announced a record-breaking corporate sponsorship pool for this year's National Cancer Awareness Initiatives. Cayman Islands community event of the day is the Festival Green Nature Hike, a free community-led 0.92-mile nature loop walk to discover local flora and fauna at Festival Green. Nassau, Bahamas. The ACFE Bahamas chapter is launching a new youth integrity program to teach ethics and financial literacy to high school students. Nassau's community event today, of course, is the ACFE Networking Mixer, a professional and community mix and mingle event held in Nassau from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Nigeria. The Tech Revolution Africa Summit kicks off today in Lagos, bringing together founders from across the continent to discuss the digital sovereignty of Africa tech. Nigeria's community event today is the Tech Revolution Africa Summit, a massive networking and innovation event held at the Landmark Event Center in Lagos starting at 9 a.m. Ghana. In Ho, health workers and students are leading a massive public awareness float to mark World Neglected Tropical Diseases Day 2026. Their event today is World NTDs Day Awareness Float, a colorful community parade and education session through the streets of Ho. Netherlands. Dutch researchers have unveiled a new circular housing model in Invoonhaven that uses 100% recycled materials for affordable urban living. Netherlands community event is the 90s Disco Dance, a community throwback dance event at Bliksem Wakenstrom in Eindhoven starting at 8 p.m. Vietnam. Hanoi's digital hub plan has officially attracted 3 major international data centers, promising a boost in the city's high-speed infrastructure. Vietnam's community event today is Hanoi's Old Quarter Art Walk, a morning tour of historic galleries and traditional silk shops in the Ha Kium district. And France. A major symposium in Aveneva is highlighting the 20 years later collaboration between film composers focusing on evolution of French cinema music. France's community event today is Songs for Movies concert, a live performance by David Ambo and Gabriel Marini in the La Ruche Goyer in Avignon at 8:30 p.m. Ooh, that was a mouthful. All right, on to our weather, our worldwide weather. All right, starting with New York. Extremely cold with sub-zero wind chills and areas of lake effect snow. I don't have a temperature for that. Los Angeles. Sunny today with a high of 81 and a low of 53. Chicago. Brittly cold with a high of 24 and a low of 13. Atlanta. Frigid with a chance of snow and temperatures nosediving into the record lows with a high of 47 and a low of 30. Houston, cloudy today with a high of 54 and a low of 35. Washington, D.C., exceptionally cold with highs near 20 to the mid 20, well, 20 to the mid 20s, sorry, and a low of the mid 20s. Excuse me, y'all. Miami, high chance of light rain with temperatures around 68 degrees. Tampa, sunny with a high of 69 and a low of 43. Newport Richey, sunny today with a high of 64 and a low of 43. Milwaukee, snow showers with a high of 19 and a low of 8. Vancouver, cloudy and mild with a high of 46 and a low of 39. Toronto, frigid and cold with a high of 19 and a low of 9. Kingston, light rain today with a high of 78 and a low of 67. Montego Bay. Good morning, Trina. Kingston, light rain with a high of 78 and a low of 67. Montego Bay, mostly cloudy with a high of 81 and a low of 72. Ocho Rios, high of 80 and a low of 70 with light rain. Negril, light rain with a high of 80 and a low of 76. Cayman Islands, light rain today with a high of 77 and a low of 76. Nassau, light rain today with a high of 73 and a low of 68. Nigeria, mostly cloudy and hot with a high of 92 and a low of 71. Ghana, sunny and very hot with a high of 101 and a low of 75. Netherlands, cloudy today with a high of 41 and a low of 33. Vietnam, mostly cloudy and pleasant with a high of 75 and a low of 63. And France, cloudy in Paris with a high of 43 and a low of 32. All right, it's time for our sports recap. In the NFL, we know that there aren't any games, hasn't been any games or any games today. However, the Pro Bowl games are scheduled for Tuesday, February 3rd at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on ESPN. And in the NBA scores from yesterday, we have the Hornets over the Mavericks, 123 to 121. And despite the loss, Dallas rookie Cooper Flag scored 49 points, breaking the NBA record for the points in a game by a teenager. All right, we have the Heat over the Bulls, 116 to 113. The Nuggets, 107 over the Nets, 103. The Rockets over the Hawks, 104 to 86. The 76ers over the Kings, 118 to 110. The Wizards over the Bucks, 105 to 98. The Timberwolves over the Thunder, 112 to 108. And the Pistons over the Suns, 102 to 97. Yeah. Cool. I'm quite sure y'all are colder really? Oh, I'm sorry. Yep, that's what y'all temperature told me today, though. But welcome and good morning. So in the NBA today, we have the Lakers and the Wizards. Tip-off is at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on MNMT and Sportsnet LA and also NBA League Pass. We'll also have the Pelicans versus the Magic at 8 p.m. on Bally Sports and Gulf Coast Sports. The Hornets versus the 76ers at 8 p.m. as well on NBC Sports and Bally Sports. We also have the Kings and the Cavaliers at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time on Bally Sports and NBC Sports California. We have the Raptors and the Celtics at 8:30 p.m. On NBC Sports Boston and TSN. There's also the Nets versus the Bucks at 9 p.m. on Bally Sports and YES. The Pacers and the Spurs at 9 p.m. on Bally Sports and KENS. The Clippers versus the Nuggets at 10 p.m. on 8LT and Bally Sports SoCal. And the Pistons versus the Warriors at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on ESPN and NBC Sports Bay Area. And also in soccer, the JPL sports scores from yesterday. We have Mount Pleasant over Arnett Gardens 1-0, and Dunbeholden over Cavalier 1-0. In the JPL today, there are no matches scheduled. The league is in a short break following the midweek makeup fixtures. But next week, games are on Sunday, and then we'll have Harborview versus Tivoli Gardens at 3 p.m. on Sportsmax. You'll have Montego Bay United versus Molines at 3 p.m. on TVJ Sports, and Portmore United versus Cavalier at 3:30 p.m. on Sportsmax. All right, on to our daily feature today, which is Feature Friday. And I wanted to spotlight love. So our subject is finding love at any age. So today's Feature Friday is all about something timeless, universal, and beautifully human. Finding love at any age. Because somewhere along the way, society started whispering this lie that love has an expiration date, that romance is only for the young, and that passion fades with time, that companionship is something you grow out of. But the truth, love doesn't follow a timeline. People do. So let's break it down. Psychologists and relationship experts have found that emotional maturity, self-awareness, and communication skills actually increase with age. That means people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond often form stronger, healthier, more intentional relationships than they did in their 20s. Why? Because by then, you know yourself. You know what you want. You know what you won't tolerate. And you're not dating for potential. You're dating for partnership. And here's something that's beautiful about it. According to the Pew Research Center, the number of adults over 50 entering new relationships, including marriages, long-term partnerships, and companionship-based unions, has been steadily rising for the last decade. People are living longer, loving longer, and choosing connection over isolation. But let's talk about the emotional side. Finding love later in life often comes with a deeper sense of gratitude. You've lived, you've learned, you've healed. You have survived heartbreaks, disappointments, and seasons of growth. So when love shows up, whether it's through friendship, a chance meeting, online dating, or reconnecting with someone from your past, it hits different. It feels earned. It feels intentional. It feels like a blessing and not a gamble. So let's be real. Love at any age doesn't always look like fairy tales. Sometimes it's companionship. Sometimes it's partnership. Sometimes it's just a travel buddy, a prayer partner, a business partner, or someone who simply brings peace in your life. Love evolves, and so do we. So if you're listening today, someone who's listening, I know she's listening, and you've ever felt like your window has closed, hear me clearly. Love is not a deadline. It's destiny. And destiny doesn't run on your clock. It runs on alignment. So whether you're 25 or 75, love can find you, surprise you, heal you, and transform you. And when it does, it won't care about your age, only your openness. Awesome. And also through Feature Friday, I do global flavor. So it's where we take our taste buds on a world tour and explore dishes, drinks, and traditions that shape cultures across the globe. So today we're making two stops, Greece and Spain, two countries where food isn't just nourishment, it's storytelling. So first up, Greece. It's with one country's most iconic comfort food, moussaka. Moussaka is a layered casserole dish that blends eggplant, ground meat, tomatoes, onions, spices, and rich bechamel sauce baked in golden perfection. Think of it as Greece's answer to lasagna, with a deeper Mediterranean flavor. Historically, moussaka reflects the cultural blending of the Eastern Mediterranean. Its roots trace back to the Ottoman Empire, where layered eggplant dishes were common. Modern version we know of today was standardized in the early 20th century by Greek chef Nicola Telementes, who added the French-inspired bechamel topping. What makes moussaka special is its symbolism. It represents hospitality. Greek families often serve it during gatherings and celebrations. Seasonality. Eggplant is a summer vegetable, and moussaka is tied to warm weather harvests. And tradition. Every region, every grandmother has their own version. Eating moussaka isn't just a flavor, it's about experiencing the warmth, generosity, and family-centered spirit of Greek culture. Our next spotlight is Spain. Now let's head to West Spain, where food becomes a social event through the beloved tradition of tapas. Tapas aren't just small plates, they're a lifestyle, a cultural rhythm, a way of connecting. The word tapa means lid or cover. One popular origin story says bartenders used to place small slices of bread or meat over glasses of wine to keep flies out. Over time, those little snacks evolved into a full culinary tradition. So today, tapas represents community. People gather in groups, hopping from bar to bar, sharing dishes. Conversation. Tapas are meant to be eaten slowly with laughter and storytelling. And variety, from olives to cheese and garlic shrimp, croquets and brahma bavas and chorizo. Accessibility, tapas are affordable, casual, and meant for everyone. In Spain, tapas culture teaches a powerful lesson. Food isn't just about eating, it's all about being together. It shows it's not about slowing down, savoring the moment. It's about enjoying life joyous bites. Enjoying life in small, joyous bites. So today, the global flavor, we tasted the heart of Greece, moussaka, a dish rooted in history, family, and tradition. And we felt the soul of Spain through tapas, a celebration of community, connection, and shared experience. So it's two countries, two traditions, one universal truth. Food is culture, and culture is connection. All right, on to our book club, where we are still reading The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter Woodson. We are on chapter 15, The Study of the Negro. In this chapter, Woodson agrees that one of the greatest failures of American educational system is the refusal to teach accurate, comprehensive, and dignified Black history. He explains that Black people have been miseducated not only by what they were taught, but by what was deliberately left out. Woodson believed that the study of Black history is not optional. Not optional, sorry. It is essential for building self-respect, understanding identity, correcting false narratives, empowering future generations, and challenging racist assumptions embedded in society. This chapter is Woodson's call to reclaim our story. So, summary of the chapter, Woodson explains the educational system intentionally minimized or erased Black contributions to civilization, science, politics, literature, and culture. As a result, generations of Black students grew up believing that they had no history worth studying. Their ancestors contributed nothing to world progress. Their culture was inferior. Their role in society was to follow, not lead. He argues that his historical erasure was a tool of control. If you can convince a people they have no past, you can easily convince them they have no future. Woodson believed that the study of Black history should be accurate, not romanticized, not watered down, comprehensive, covering Africa, the diaspora, and global contributions, integrated, not a side chapter or a special month, and empowering, showing the brilliance, resilience, and innovation of Black people. He insisted that Black people must take responsibility for researching, preserving, and teaching their own history, because no one else would do it with the same care, trust, and intention. His core message is a people who do not know their history cannot understand their power. How to apply this to your life? This chapter is a reminder that history is not just information, it's identity. And here's how Woodson's wisdom applies today. 1, study your history intentionally. Don't wait for schools or institutions to teach you. Set out books, documentaries, lectures, and archives that tell the truth about Black excellence. 2, teach the next generation. Share your stories with your children, nieces, nephews, students, and community. Woodson believed that cultural education begins at home. 3, challenge the narratives, the false narratives. When you hear misinformation about Black people, correct it. Silence shows stereotypes. Silence allows stereotypes to survive. 4, support Black scholars, authors, and historians. They are continuing the work Woodson started, documenting our past so we can shape our future. And 5, use history as fuel, not nostalgia. Your ancestors were innovators, builders, warriors, thinkers, creators, and leaders. Their legacy is your foundation, not your ceiling. All right, on to the cause of the day: mental health and the strong Black woman, Black man syndrome. So what is it? The psychological pressure to appear stoic and unbreakable in the face of trauma or stress, leading to suppressed emotions and burnout. In Black culture, seeking therapy was often stigmatized as lack of faith or a weakness. However, chronic stress leads to high levels of cortisol, which physically challenges the brain and heart over time. Symptoms of this: irritability, social withdrawal, functional depression, going to work but feeling empty inside, and sleep disturbances. Prevention: therapy, digital detoxing, turn off the social media and the news, and setting boundaries, saying no without guilt. For more resources, you can go to Therapy for Black Girls, Therapy for Black Men, and the Boris Lawrence Henson Foundation. All right, on to Today in History. First up, the Beatles' final concert in 1969. Without any prior notice, the Fab Four climbed to the roof of their Apple Corps building in London and started jamming. It was their last public performance before they split, ending an era of music history while the police literally tried to pull the plug on the roof. Second, the passing of a peace icon in 1948. Mahatma Gandhi was assassinated in New Delhi. Known as the father of the nation in India, his philosophy of nonviolent resistance inspired civil rights leaders worldwide, including Dr. Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela. And last, Mazda is born in 1920. Most people think they started with cars, but Mazda actually began today as Toyo Kogyo, a company that manufactured cork in Hiroshima, Japan. It took them another decade to start making vehicles, proving that it's not where you start, but how you pivot. All right, African American history. The bombing of MLK's home in 1956. During the Montgomery bus boycott, white supremacists bombed Dr. King's home while his wife Coretta and their infant daughter were inside. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Rather than igniting violence, King stood on his porch and told the gathered crowd, quote, "We must meet with love." I'm sorry. Let me say that again. Let me correct myself. Quote, "We must meet hate with love," end quote. Turning a moment of terror into a pillar of the nonviolent movement. Next, we have Edmonia Lewis, 1844. Known as Wildfire, Lewis was the first African American and Native American sculptor to achieve international fame. She moved to Rome to escape the racism of the U.S. art world, carving massive marble statues that combine classical style with themes of Black liberation and indigenous pride. And last, we have Franklin Thomas and the Ford Foundation, 1979. On this day, Franklin Thomas was named the president of Ford Foundation, making him the first Black person to head a major American philanthropic organization. He redirected billions of dollars toward community development and social justice, proving that excellence has a seat at the highest tables of wealth. All right, in our African American scientists and inventors, first up we have Granville T. Woods, often called the Black Edison. He invented the synchronous multiplex railway telegraph in 1887. This allowed moving trains to communicate with stations and each other, preventing countless collisions. He successfully defeated Thomas Edison in court twice to prove his patents were his own. Next up, we have Dr. Shirley Jackson. She was the first Black woman to earn a PhD from MIT. Her research in subatomic particles led to the invention of the portable fax, touch-tone telephones, solar cells, and fiber optic cables. Her work is the silent engine behind almost every modern communication tool we use. And last, we have Richard Spikes, a prolific inventor who created the automatic gear shift for cars in 1932. He also invented the safety braking system for buses and trucks. And for the beverage lovers, he created the pressure-activated beer keg tap. His work focused on making mechanical systems safer and easier for the general public to use. All right, on to our Back to Roots segment. We are ending our week celebrating empires. First up, we have the Ashanti Empire, the Golden Stool. Centered in modern Ghana, the Ashanti were masters of gold and diplomacy. The Sika D. Kofi, Golden Tool, was believed to house the spirit of the Ashanti nation. It was never allowed to touch the ground and was so sacred that a war was fought just to protect it from British hands. Next up, we have the Yoruba Kingdom of Oyo, a highly sophisticated constitutional monarchy in West Africa. It was protected by the Isoshi Koyi, 70 military captains who were forbidden from retreating. Their political system featured a system of checks and balances that limited the king's power, similar to modern democratic structures. And last, we have Nok civilization, terracotta art. Dating back 1000 BCE in northern Nigeria, the Nok are the earliest known producers of life-size terracotta statues in sub-Saharan Africa. Their art features complex hairstyles and jewelry, proving that African aesthetic refinement and permanent settlement existed thousands of years before colonial contact. All right, on to we're going down the rabbit hole today, y'all. Into the moment of the world when the world was quietly was quiet forever. Okay, so picture this. It's the summer of 1956. A small group of scientists gather at Dartmouth College for what looks like to be a simple academic workshop. No fanfare, no cameras, just a handful of brilliant minds and a bold idea. One of them, a young computer scientist named John McCarthy, walks in with a phrase the world had never heard before: artificial intelligence. That meeting becomes the official birth of AI. No robots, no glowing screens, no futuristic labs, just a room full of chalkboards and a belief that machines could one day think. But here's where the rabbit hole gets deeper. Earlier years, before the term even existed, a British mathematician named Alan Turing had already asked the forbidden question: can machines think? He laid the blueprint, the theory, the logic, the test, long before anyone dared to call it intelligence. So while McCarthy named the field, Turing planted the seed. From that quiet workshop in 1956, the ideas spread like wildfire into universities, military labs, Silicon Valley garages, and eventually into the phones, cars, and systems we use today. And now, the dark side of AI, how it's been misused. AI was invented to think through problems like a human, but once the technology spread, people start bending it in ways the original creators never imagined. Here are the major negative uses that experts warned us about today. First, surveillance and tracking. AI powers facial recognition systems that can track people without consent, monitor protests, misidentify Black and brown faces at higher rates. This raises serious concerns about privacy and civil rights. 2, deep fakes and misinformation. AI can create fake videos, audio, images, and news. These tools have been used to impersonate public figures, spread false information, scam individuals, and manipulate public opinion. Deepfakes are one of the fastest growing digital threats. Third, financial scams and fraud. AI can generate fake voices, realistic emails, and clone identities. Scammers use it to trick people into sending money or revealing personal information. 4, automated bias and discrimination. AI systems trained on biased data can deny loans, misjudge job applicants, mislabel medical conditions, unfairly target certain groups. This is one of the biggest ethical issues in AI today. 5, military and weaponization. AI is used in drones, targeting systems, and predictive warfare tools. This raises global concerns about safety, accountability, and escalation. Oh, don't worry, it's more. 6, social media manipulation. Algorithms can amplify harmful content, push addictive behavior, create echo chambers, influence emotions and decisions. This affects mental health and public discourse. 7, data exploitation. AI systems can collect and analyze massive amounts of personal data, sometimes without people even realizing it. This can lead to privacy violations, targeted manipulation, and unauthorized profiling. So I wondered, what was the end game of AI since it started one way and it's going another way? So I looked it up in a few places, and there's no single final goal at all that AI is so-called marching toward. Different groups want different things. Governments, corporations, researchers, and everyday users all have their own agendas. But there are 4 major directions that explain where AI is heading and why. 1, the scientific goal: build machines that can think. This is the original mission from the 1950s. Researchers want to understand intelligence, recreate human reasoning, build systems that can learn, adapt, and solve problems. This is about knowledge, not domination. I kept seeing that and over and over and over. 2, corporate goal: automate and scale. Companies use AI to reduce costs, speed up work, analyze huge amounts of data, create new products, personalized services. This is where AI can see you today using recommended systems, chatbots, automation, and analytics. Third, the government's goal, security and power. Governments invest in AI for cybersecurity, intelligence analysis, military strategy, infrastructure, and national competitiveness. The end game here is global advantage, staying ahead of other nations. And the human goal, tools that make life easier. Every day, people want AI to save time, simplify tactics, help with creativity, and support learning or improve health and safety. So, what's the true end game? If you zoom out far enough, overarching goals becomes clear. AI is being built to extend human capability, to think faster, to analyze deeper, to automate the heavy lifting, unlock things humans cannot do alone, and not to replace humanity, but to amplify it. But there's a catch. AI's direction depends on who builds it, who controls it, and what values guide it. That's why people worry. Not because AI has intentions, but because humans do. The technology reflects the priorities of the people behind it. So while the internet claims there's AI, that AI doesn't have a single end game, scientists want to understand intelligence. Companies want efficiency, governments want power, and everyday people want tools to make their lives easier. But the real question isn't what AI wants, it's what the humans building it are aiming for. All right, so all I'm gonna say is watch iRobot. All right, fact or fiction, we conclude the government shadows week with first up, Operation Paperclip Hidden Files. The claim, the US government scrubbed the war crime records of over 1,600 Nazi scientists to bring them to America to work on space race weapons. Yeah, the verdict is that is a fact. Warren von Braun, who helped us get to the moon, was a primary example. The government did indeed clean their files to keep their minds away from the Soviets. Up next, Stargate Project. The claim is the CIA and Army spent 20 years and over $20 million training psychic spies to use remote viewing to see into secret Soviet bases. This is also a fact. The program was real and ran from 1978 to 1995. It was eventually shut down because the psychic results were too inconsistent for the military to use. Or they couldn't figure out how to use AI yet. And last, missing 411, government angle. The claim, people disappearing in national parks are being taken by interdimensional beings, or the government is covering up underground predators. Missing 411 refers to a series of books and documentaries by investigator David Paulides, documenting unusual disappearances in U.S. national parks and wilderness areas. He argues that patterns in these cases defy conventional explanation. So that is unverified. While the disappearances are real and documented by David, there are no known evidence of a shadow government involvement. Most cases are likely due to terrain, weather, or wild animals. That was their explanation. All right, on to our tech tip of the day. Oh no. The two-factor authentication audit. All right, switch from SMS, which is text, to a 2FA authenticator app. Hackers can SIM swap your phone number and intercept your text codes. Using an app like Google Authenticator or Authy, It's much more secure because the code stays on your physical device, not the cellular network. So how you do it is you download an authenticator app and go to your security settings on Instagram, Facebook, and your bank to switch your login verification method. All right, our finance tip of the day is the lifestyle creep audit. Don't let your spending rise as fast as your raises. Lifestyle creep occurs when your standard of living improves as your income increases, making it impossible to build true wealth. Next time you get a raise or a bonus, pay yourself 50% of that increase by putting it directly in an investment account before you even see it in your checking. If you ever saw the money, you won't miss it. Rather, if you never saw the money, you won't miss it. And side note, don't forget to order your credit report, guys. All right, our fun fact of the day, the original GPS. Birds don't just fly south for the winter, they actually see the Earth's magnetic field. This is called magnetory reception. Birds have a special protein in their eyes called cryptochrome, which that allows them to perceive magnetic fields as colors or light patterns. They literally have a built-in heads-up display that guides them across thousands of miles. Our fun holiday of the day, it's National Croissant Day. Most people think the croissant is 100% French, but it actually originated in Austria as a pastry called Kipferl. French bakers adapted the recipe in the early 19th century using puff pastry to create flaky, buttery layers we love today. All right, on to our quote of the day, and I quote, "I can accept failure. Everyone fails at something, but I can't accept not trying," end quote. That quote was by Michael Jordan. So don't let the fear of a missed shot stop you from making the game-winning play in your business or your life today. All right, on to music and entertainment. We have the Super Bowl halftime tease. As we head towards February, the rumors of the 2026 halftime show are pointing toward a tribute to the South, featuring legends from Atlanta and Houston. Since the NFL partnered with Rock Nation, the halftime show has transformed into a massive celebration of Black culture influence on a global scale. Also, we have Afrobeats Festival expansion. The Afro Nation Festival has announced its 2026 expansion into 5 new cities, including Kingston and Lagos. This move solidifies the year of return energy, creating a global circuit where Black music is the universal language of the weekend. And in celebrity gossips, again, about the Super Bowl halftime, with the big time just around the corner, insiders say Rock Nation has secured a Southern legend as a surprise guest for the halftime show. The rehearsals have been held under level 5 security. Since Jay-Z's partnership with the NFL, the halftime show has become a curated museum of Black music history rather than just pop performances. All right, on to our celebrity birthdays. Today we have American rapper, singer, songwriter, record producer, and actor Kid Cudi, who's 42. Next, we have the Fab Five at Michigan to a powerhouse sports analyst, Jalen Rose. He's 53. And longtime American radio DJ, as well as television and movie personality, Donnie Simpson is 72. We have American songwriter, singer, record producer, and artist, Miss Jody Watley is 67. And American actor, director, and producer, Mr. Charles Dutton is 75. And Lux Radio would love to send a big birthday shout out to cousin Kalasia. Happy birthday. All right, on to our lifestyle segment. Our soul food recipe of the day is sweet potato cornbread. It's rich in vitamin A for the sweet potatoes and moist and nutritious. Our drink of the day is pineapple turmeric anti-inflammatory juice. Turmeric reduces inflammation. The pineapple supports the digestion. Men's health tip for today is stretch for 10 minutes, guys. Improves mobility, reduces risk, it reduces injury risk, and supports healthy aging. Men's fashion tip of the day is casual Friday upgrade. Swap graphic tees for solid polos or sweaters. Women's health tip for today is SPF every day. It prevents hyperpigmentation and premature aging even in the winter. Women's fashion tip of the day is statement earrings. Instant glam for the end of the week. Our household chore today is wash your bedding. It removes allergens and improves sleep quality. Women, our auto mechanics 101 for today is check your wiper blades. Streaking or squeaking means it's time to replace them. Our relationship advice for couples today is end the week with appreciation. Tell your partner one thing they did that mattered. Friendships, plan a weekend outing or a call. Intentional time strengthens bonds. And family, create a Friday night tradition, either movies, games, or just dinner together. And in Before They Were Legends, I love to spotlight the wonderful Miss Cicely Tyson. Before Cicely Tyson became a trailblazing actress and cultural icon, she was a shy girl raised by Caribbean immigrant parents in Harlem. Her mother didn't want her to act. She even kicked her out when she pursued modeling. But Cicely refused to shrink. She chose roles that honored Black women with dignity, depth, and truth, even when Hollywood offered stereotypes. She worked as a typist, a model, and a struggling actress before her breakthrough in Sounder and the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman. It's one of my favorite movies. Her career became a masterclass in purpose over popularity. So when you refuse to compromise your values, your legacy becomes unshakable. And last but not least, our horoscopes for the day, where we start with Aries. End the week strong, a win is coming. Your lucky numbers today are 3, 11, and 28. Taurus, relaxation brings clarity. Slow down. Your lucky numbers today are 5, 18, and 33. Cancer, family energy feels warm and supportive. Lucky numbers for you today are 7, 12, and 30. Leo, your confidence attracts attention, good attention. Your lucky numbers today are 1, 19, and 27. Virgo, a task gets completed with ease. Your lucky numbers today are 4, 16, and 29. Libra, harmony returns, a disagreement smooths out. Your lucky numbers today are 8, 21, and 34. Scorpio, a financial insight helps you plan ahead. Your lucky numbers today are 9, 17, and 26. Sagittarius, adventure energy rises, even if it's mental. Your lucky numbers today are 10, 23, and 31. Capricorn, your discipline pays off. Expect recognition. Your lucky numbers today are 2, 15, and 25. Aquarius, your originality shines. People notice. Your lucky numbers today are 13, 20, and 32. And Pisces, your intuition guides you toward the right choice. Your lucky numbers today are 6, 18, and 24. At this time, I would like to thank our sponsors, Bello Burn Hot Sauce, Bold Taste, Big Kick. Bello Burn keeps the city spicy. RAS Herbals, natural remedies, real results. RAS Herbals keeps the community grounded. And Calorane Candles, soft light, strong energy. Calorane Candles elevates every space. And Chief and Go's major sponsor, Universal Madness. Style with a statement, Universal Madness keeps the culture fitted. On to announcements. Live and Learn with Gemini Goddess will be tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have the Peace Podcast with Tay and Jay at 9:30 p.m. every Friday, which is tonight. And also tomorrow, we have Snatched and Savage at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, all on Lux Radio Network and luxradio.com. And that's how we close out this week, family. You showed up, you pushed through, and you kept your light shining. Take this weekend to refill your cup, laugh loud, and live hard and life soft. I'll catch you Monday, refreshed and ready, and hopefully better. So until Monday morning, have a blessed weekend. Stay safe and continue to stand on all 10 in your own truth. And don't let nobody tilt your crown. Period.